Hello guys, welcome to another lecture of our MOOC on signals and system. So in this lecture we will see classification of continuous time signals, and this is fifth lecture in the MOOC of signals and systems. So here we will start with classification of continuous time signals. So continuous time signals are classified into three categories: even and odd signals, periodic and aperiodic signal, energy and power signals. So first one is even and odd signal. So first we will go to even and odd signals. First we will see what is even signal. So any arbitrary signal xt is said to be even if and only if x of minus t is xt. Means reversing in time domain does not change signal. So this will be our even signal. And example of even signals are cos omega naught t, cosine signals or even signals, any signal x with power 2, 4, 6, 8, even power. For example, x square, x to the power 4, any even power x to the power m, where m is even, then it will be even signal. Del t is also even signal, mod t is also even signal. So these are examples of even signals, and any arbitrary signal at xt is said to be even if and only if x of minus t is equal to x of t. So there are some points about even signals, that for an even signal the duration in left hand side is equal to the duration in right hand side, but converse is not true. So duration of signal on left hand side is equal to duration of signal on right hand side. Duration of signal on right hand side, but converse need not to be true. And even signals are also known as symmetric signals. Symmetric signals. Okay. Now come to the odd signals. Second one is odd signals. So any arbitrary signal xt is said to be odd if and only if x of minus t is minus of xt. Then the signal will be odd signal. Yes. Okay. Now there are some properties for odd signals also. For any odd signal, its value at origin is always 0. Value at origin of odd signal is always equal to 0, but converse need not to be true. And its example are sin t, t tq t to the power m, where m is odd number 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. These are all odd signal, and signum t is also odd signal. Okay, and now odd signals are also known as anti-symmetric signals. These are also known as anti-symmetric. Anti-symmetric signals. Now, if there is a signal xt which is not coming in the category of even signal and it is not in the category of odd signals, then it will call neither even nor odd signal. Neither even nor odd signals. Which is neither even and which is nor odd. Means it is not coming in the category of even nor it is coming in the category of, means x of minus t is not equal to x of t, and it is also not equal to at the same time minus of x of t. Then it is neither even nor odd signal. Now any arbitrary signal xt can be written as xet plus xot, even part plus odd part. Any real signal xt can be written as the combination of even and odd part. This any signal xt, we can write any signal xt as a summation of even and odd part. This is even part and this is odd part, where xet and xot are even part of any signal xt is x of t plus x of minus t divided by 2, and odd part of the signal xot will be xt minus x of minus t divided by 2. If we will add these both xet plus xot, then we will get xt. We can check it here. That is a simple exercise. Now these are even and odd signals. Now there are some other properties for combination of two signals. If we will combine even signal, we will add even signal with even signal, then resultant will be even signal. If we will add odd signal with odd signal, then resultant will be odd. Odd plus odd will be odd. If we will multiply even with even, even multiply with even will be even. Multiplication of odd signal, odd multiply with odd will be even. Even multiply with odd will be odd. Even multiply with odd will be odd. Addition of even and odd, even plus odd will be neither even nor odd. Neither even nor odd. So this is completely about even and odd signal. Now let us take a signal xt which is neither even nor odd, and we will check the neither even nor odd signal property. So let us say the signal xt is defined in this way. its value is between time 1 and 2 and its amplitude is 1. So this is x of t. Now what will be x of minus t? Taking mirror image of this signal will be x of minus t. This will be minus 2 to minus 1. This is x of minus t. Now even part of signal will be xt plus x of minus t divided by 2. So what will be xet? Xet will be xt plus x of minus t became, this will be minus 2 to minus 1 and 1 to 2 and divided by 2, so amplitude became 1 by 2, this will be minus 2. Now odd part will be xt minus x of minus t divided by 2. So this is xt 1 to 2 minus x of minus t divided by 2, so amplitude became minus 1 by 2 and this will be 1 by 2. This is odd part x o t, minus 2 to minus 1. Now we will check whether we are getting xt or not by adding xet plus xot divided by 2. So xet plus xot divided by 2. This signal became, so this is what xet plus x of minus, means this is x of minus t, this is x of t, this is xet plus xot, means this 1 by 2 will cancel out and this 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 became 1. So it will be 1 in between 1 and 2, time period 1 and 2. So it became between 1 and 2 time period, amplitude became 1. So this is nothing else but x of t. So any signal xt can be written as this combination xet plus xot divided by 2, where xet is xt plus x of minus t divided by 2, xot is xt minus x of minus t divided by 2. So these are our even and odd signals. Now we will move to our periodic and aperiodic signals. Periodic and aperiodic signals. So an arbitrary signal xt is said to be periodic if and only if it repeats its value after a fundamental period, means x of t plus t will be x of t. Now the minimum positive value of this capital T is known as fundamental period of xt. This fundamental period is 2 pi by omega naught, where omega naught is fundamental frequency. This is fundamental frequency and this is fundamental period. Now there are some properties of periodic signal. Any periodic signal will exist in time domain from minus infinity to infinity, but converse need not to be true. Example of periodic signals are sin omega naught t, cos omega naught t. But as we will limit its duration, let us say there is a signal sin omega naught t u of t, then it is non-periodic signal. It is not periodic. Similarly, let us take cos omega naught t ut. Again it will be non-periodic signal, because it is not existing from minus infinity to infinity. Periodic signal exists from minus infinity to infinity. Converse need not to be true. Now, how we will find period of any signal? That is very important topic. So there are two methods. First one is frequency domain method and second is time domain method. So let us see frequency domain method to find fundamental period of a signal. First we will see frequency domain method. So in frequency domain method we will go through two steps to find fundamental period of any signal. Step 1 is, let us say signal is a combination of x1t plus x2t plus x3t, means x1t minus x2t plus x3t, any other combination. Then calculate the individual fundamental frequencies of the component of that signal. Find individual fundamental frequency. Individual fundamental frequencies. Let us say omega naught 1, omega naught 2, omega naught 3 and so on. So in step 1 we will find individual fundamental frequencies of that signal, and in step 2 we will take a frequency omega naught which will be greatest common divisor of all the frequencies found in step 1. Omega naught 1, omega naught 2, omega naught 3 and so on. This is greatest common divisor. Greatest common divisor. Okay, and then in step 3 we can say it step, or otherwise if we have omega naught means we have time period. So t will be 2 pi by omega naught. Let us finish this in step 2 only. Okay, so this is our fundamental period. If this greatest common divisor is a divisor which will divide every fundamental frequency with some integer. If no such divisor exists, then signal is non-periodic. Okay, so greatest common divisor will be the highest value which will divide all the individual fundamental frequencies simultaneously by an integer number. If no such highest value exists which can divide individual fundamental frequency simultaneously by an integer, then the signal will be non-periodic. So now we will go for our second method, that is time domain method. Time domain method. So time domain method is a 5-step process. In this we will use 5 steps. Step 1 will be calculate individual fundamental periods T01, T02, T03 and so on. Okay, step 1 is calculate individual fundamental periods. Step 2 is Calculate the ratio of individual fundamental periods. Calculate the ratio of individual fundamental periods. That will be T01 by T02, T01 by T03, T01 by T04, and so on. Step 3 will be, for the signal to be periodic, all the ratio of individual fundamental periods calculated in step 2 must be rational number. That is ratio of two integers p by q. For signal to be periodic, ratios obtained in step 2 must be rational numbers. Okay. If these are not rational number, means signal is non-periodic. Now we will move for step 4. Now calculate the LCM of denominator. Now calculate the LCM of denominators of part of ratios calculated in step 2. Step 2, denominator of step 2. Denominator part of ratios calculated in step 2. Calculated in step 2. And now final step will be finding the fundamental period. Step 5 will be overall fundamental period T will be given as T01 into that LCM. Find in step 4. Okay. Overall fundamental period. This T is a overall fundamental period. So these are two methods to find fundamental period. Let us take an example. Let us say a signal x of t is a combination of two signals, that is 2 sin 4 pi t plus 4 cos 8 pi t. Now I will solve this by using both the methods. So first I will solve this with frequency domain method. Frequency domain method. So in frequency domain method, step 1 is find the individual fundamental frequencies. So omega naught 1 individual fundamental frequency of the signal is 4 pi. Omega naught 2 is fundamental frequency of the signal is 8 pi. And in step 2 we will find greatest common divisor of these two frequencies, GCD of 4 pi and 8 pi. So the greatest divisor which will divide these both in an integer is 4 pi. That is 4 pi, which is our overall fundamental frequency. So time period became 2 pi by omega naught means 2 pi by 4 pi means 1 by 2. Okay. Now second method to solve this is time domain method. So in time domain method, step 1 is find individual fundamental periods. So its period will be 2 pi by T01 will be 2 pi by omega naught 1, that will be 1 by 2. T02 will be 2 pi by 8 pi, that will be 1 by 4. T01 is 2 pi by 4 pi, that is 1 by 2. T02 is 2 pi by 8 pi, that is 1 by 4. Now step 2 is find the ratio. T01 by T02, that will be 1 by 2 upon 1 by 4, this became 4 by 2, that is 2. Now step 3 is in step 2 whatever we have find, now in step 3 we will see whether it is a rational number or not. So this ratio T01 by T02 is a rational number, that is 2, means this is P by Q form, 2 by 1. So now we will find, now we can see this is a rational number 2 by 1, which is in the form of P by Q. Now in step 4 we will find LCM of all the denominators find in step 2. So denominator is only 1, so LCM of 1 is 1, so LCM will be 1. And step 5 we will find overall fundamental period T will be T01 into LCM, that is T01 is 1 by 2, LCM is 1, so overall fundamental period is 1 by 2. So we can see by using time domain method and by using frequency domain method we are getting same time period. So we can use any of the method to find fundamental period of a signal. Now one another method exists. If we can't find fundamental frequency, if we are unable to find omega naught, we are unable to find omega naught, then frequency domain and time domain method will not work here. Here we will go for graphical method. So graphical method I have explained in one another video in miscellaneous library. You can go and see this graphical method. I have solved one example and I have explained this method. So I will give link of this video in description. You can go and see this method there. So there are some signals which are periodic always. Any constant signal is always periodic. Any constant signal is always periodic. But its fundamental period is not defined. Period is not defined because because it repeats its value after every moment of time. So we can't say anything about that moment after which it is repeating its value. For example, there is a signal xt is 1. So its value is 1 for each and every instant of time. So it is repeating its value after each and every instant of time, and we can't say anything about that instant of time after which it is repeating its value. So it is periodic, but its fundamental period is not defined. So if we are having a signal, let us say xt is sin t plus sin pi t plus 1. So this is periodic, this is also periodic, and its fundamental period will be same as the period of this signal. So period of this xt, time period, will be same as the period of sin pi t, that is 2 pi by pi, that is 2. So let us say this is 1, 2, 5, 10, anything. Any constant signal is periodic, but its fundamental period is not defined. So now we will move to energy and power signal. Power and energy signal. So first we will see what is energy of a signal. So energy of any signal is given as any continuous time signal xt, energy is given as minus infinity to minus infinity magnitude xt is whole square dt. This is energy of any continuous time signal. Okay. And power of any continuous time signal is given as power of any signal x, this is energy of any signal x, p of x is given as limit t, that is time period tending to infinity, 1 upon 2t integral minus t to t mod xt whole square dt. Or we can also write this p of x as limit t tending to infinity, 1 upon t integration from minus t by 2 to t by 2 mod xt whole square dt. So any signal xt will be energy signal if its energy is finite, and any signal will be power signal if its power is finite. Energy signal are having finite energy, while power signals are having finite power. So we can check by taking some examples that whether given signal is energy signal or power signal. So let us take x of t is a constant signal A, any constant signal A. Let me find its energy. E of x will be integration minus infinity to infinity a square dt mod xt whole square dt. So it became infinite. So we can say it is not an energy signal. Now let us see its power. Limit t tending to infinity, 1 upon 2t minus t to t a square dt. So it became a square. It means it is having infinite energy and finite power, so it is power signal. Now let us take another signal, that is e of minus 2t u of t. Let us take its energy. E of x is integration minus infinity mod xt whole square will be e to the power minus 4t and u of t dt. So it became 0 to infinity e to the power minus 4t dt. It became e to the power minus 4t by minus 4, 0 to infinity, this became 1 by 4. So its energy is finite, it means it is energy signal. Let us check power also. P of x is limit t tending to infinity 1 upon 2t minus t to t e to the power minus 4t ut dt. As we will check, it will come 0. So it is energy signal. So any energy signal has finite energy and power 0. Any power signal will have infinite energy and finite power.